So let's talk about bulging and doming and pressure. And we talk about these in the recommendations, and these are the things we want to try and avoid. So we want people to become very dialed into what's happening around their abdominal wall, what's happening around their stoma, what's happening through their pelvic floor, and to tune into sensations and observations of this sort of concept of bulging and doming and pressure anywhere in the abdomen and pelvic floor. And what that means is, if we're experiencing bulging and doming, it means that we are not managing our intra-abdominal pressure well, or we've increased our intra-abdominal pressure beyond our capacity for that movement or exercise. So what we need to learn to do is to exercise in a way we don't observe bulging and doming or feel it or see it. But we also need to learn how to engage the abdominal wall so that we're managing our pressure better. Let me give you an example. I'm going to pop down here onto my back, and I'm going to do a really awful sit-up where you're going to see this sort of distinct bulge of my tummy where I'm increasing intra-abdominal pressure and I'm doing a sit-up. So this is what we don't want to see. So if I hold my breath and I do a sit-up, and you can see this kind of big bulge through my tummy where I don't have any control and I've increased the pressure. So we don't want that. So we want people to become really tuned into what this feels like. So they can place their hand on their stoma, they can feel their abdomen themselves, they can feel themselves from the side, they can watch, they can get somebody to watch them, but we're looking to just really get that sensation. So let me do that again, but this time I'm going to engage the abdominal wall muscle and I'm going to use the exhale to help me manage my pressure. So I'm going to take a breath in, going to breathe out, exhale, and then engage the abdominals. And then I'm going to do that sit-up again. So this time I'm doing the sit-up, but I've got lovely engaged abdominal wall and I'm not seeing that bulging of the abdominals. And then lowering. So that can happen in lots and lots of different movements, not just a sit-up. It can happen when we're doing, when we're lifting the legs up. It can happen if we're just lifting and pushing and pulling things in normal daily life as well. So place a hand on the stoma, place a hand on the tummy if that helps you. And we're looking just to make sure that we're just not seeing that and get that lovely engagement, create that connection of the abdominal muscles. And we know then that we're managing our pressure and we're not seeing that bulging. So we give you another example. So if we come into something like a double tabletop exercise, where we've come up with our legs up and we're going to do some, let's say some toe taps from this position. Now this is quite an advanced exercise. So this is not an entry level exercise, but it's giving you an example of what we're not looking for. So at the moment I've got good engagement. I can feel around my stoma, I can feel around my abdominal wall. That feels firm, it feels good, it feels well controlled. Now if I lose control of that and I just relax and let it go, and then I drop one leg down, and you'll see now how my abdomen is kind of bulged up and popped up a little bit more. And even worse, if I take both legs down and I do straight leg lower, which is not something that we'd want people to do, certainly in the early days, you can see how much pressure there is and how much bulging, and then the legs come back up. So that is not good. I've lost control. I don't have the control in that way to do that exercise. If, however, I create engagement and I keep that really firm and taut, I'm concentrating on keeping that tight, and I use the breath to tap that toe down. You're not seeing, and I can't feel any doming or bulging or pressure around the abdomen. But I'm working really hard to keep those abdominals firm and taut. And then I can even do a little bit of a leg lower, and I'm not creating too much bulging there. And then bring the legs down. So we're trying to avoid a feeling or an observation of the belly bulging or doming or pressure around the stoma and around the pelvic floor on a really basic level. But that's what we want people to try and avoid. So it doesn't mean they don't do certain exercises. It means they need to do certain exercises well, using the breath, using the exhale to help them manage pressure, and make sure they build up to those more advanced exercises in a safe, appropriate way. If they observe and feel those sensations during a particular exercise, and it can be a core exercise or it can be any other type of exercise in the gym or at home or any other active sort of daily activity, we want to make sure that we just reset, change our body position, modify the exercise, use the breath to help us so we get that exhale. Or it might be that actually that exercise is a little bit beyond us at the moment and we need a little bit more time to build our strength to get back to that. Okay, so that's what we mean by bulging and doming.